Hi. So I wanted to make a video. I was gonna say quick video. I don't know how quick this is gonna be. But a video kind of talking through the procedure that I had a couple of days ago to treat my pulsatile tinnitus. My voice is still a little in and out from the intubation, so excuse that. But I obviously have pulsatile tinnitus, and the reason that I have that is because I have bilateral transverse venous sinus stenosis. So basically, I think it's like the large veins in my brain are narrowed, and it's narrowed on both sides, but the left is a lot more narrowed than the right. And then I also have a post-stenotic aneurysm on the left side. So basically, after it narrows, it kind of like balloons out. And the reason that I'm hearing my heartbeat is because I'm hearing the blood kind of like whooshing through the narrowing. And so this diagnosis for pulsatile tinnitus is treatable by a stent. And so that is what I got done on Wednesday, on October 5th. So I'm wearing my handy dandy little bracelet. So I wanted to just talk through the procedure. And if you've been following along, like on the Whooshers page, on my pulsatile tinnitus Instagram page, you'll see that it is very surprising that I was able to get this procedure when I was able to get it because of insurance. I have had New Jersey State Medicaid for, I don't know, several months now, I think since like May or June of this year. And it's very hard to get one state's Medicaid to cover a procedure in another state. So we submitted everything for me to get my procedure done by Dr. Patsalides. He's out of New York. He's a neurointerventional surgeon. And they denied it the first time. They said it wasn't medically necessary. At the time, I had gone and seen another neurosurgeon to see if she would be able to do the procedure. But one of the things that she recommended, in addition to more testing that I didn't need, was to try vitamin B12. So I was like, not going back to her. So we filed the appeal. A couple weeks later, I have the letter with me because it's still just like so surprising to me. But they approved it. They deemed it medically necessary. I'm going to write a super nice letter to the medical director that's on here that deemed it approved, because that was just like the most wonderful news. So once we got that approved, because I was supposed to have my surgery on August 10th, and we were talking about waiting until my new jobs insurance kicked in, but I was like, I don't know what that coverage would be or how long that would take. So once we got this approved, we were able to get the surgery scheduled within the next couple of weeks. And so I had the procedure done on October 5th. So 5 days before this particular procedure, you start taking Plavix and you start taking aspirin. They're both blood thinners. And I don't think I really had any side effects with either. I've been super tired, but I also got COVID like 3.5 weeks ago. So I'm sure that is contributing too. So you start taking that 5 days before. I haven't had a follow-up yet, so I don't know when I'm going to be stopping the Plavix, but I think Plavix usually stop like a couple weeks after the procedure. And then the aspirin you continue taking for like 6 to 12 months after the procedure. But I'll update once I have my follow-up and know like what that looks like. But so I started that 5 days before. The night before your procedure, you are to stop drinking and eating at midnight. So I think I had my like last meal at like 10 because I was nervous. You are allowed on the day of the procedure to have a couple of small sips of water if you have like morning medication that you have to take. So I did that for the aspirin, the Plavix, and another medication that I take. And then I was scheduled to get there at 8:30 a.m. They call you the day before with your arrival time. So 8:30 a.m. I'm in South Jersey, so like without traffic, it's like a 2-hour drive, but obviously that is like prime traffic time. So we ended up leaving my house at 5:30 a.m., giving ourselves like plenty of buffer time. But didn't hit any traffic. We did see a car on fire on the way over, so that was a really not shocking start to the morning. I think everyone was okay. I saw like one person standing outside on the phone, so like fingers crossed that everything was okay there. But we ended up getting there. My arrival time was 8:30. I think we got there at 7:40. And my dad was like, do you want to wait in the car? And I was like, no, like, let's just go in, even if I have to like wait in there. Sorry if you can hear my dog, Sasha. She sees someone out there. So we went inside. First you go check in with like the hospital's main check-in place to get you admitted, to get your little bracelet. So I did that. There's a bunch of consents that you have to sign. I think I was down at registration, check-in for like, I don't know, 10 minutes max, if that. And then they walk you over to neuro. If you arrive there having to pee like I did, don't go right away, because once they get you all situated in neuro at your bed, they need a urine sample. And the person that checked me in and walked me over didn't know that or forgot that. So right when I got there, I went pee, and then I hear some knocks on the door saying, hey, we actually need a urine sample. And I was like, well, you're too late. So yeah, that's one of the things that they do, is they get a urine sample at first. So once I was over in the neuro wing, they give you a gown to put on. I'm gonna go over like literally every single detail, because I think that was one of the most anxiety inducing things for me, is like the very small things. Like, I didn't know what was going to be happening, and things that might not even cause other people anxiety, but I wanted to know absolutely everything that was going to be happening. So this video is going to probably actually be very long because of all the details. So they give you regular hospital gown, opens in the back to put on. Then they give you almost like a little robe to put on over it so that your backside is covered. They give you some cute grippy socks. What else did they give? I think that's all you had to wear. You have to take everything off, undergarments too, nothing stays on. I had to take my nose ring out. They gave me a little, like the little pee cups that they give you. They gave me one of those to put my nose ring in. So they get you all situated there. I think there's a couple of more things that I had to sign. You meet so many people before you go back for the procedure. I met multiple nurses. I met a PA, a medical resident, medical fellow. Everyone comes and introduces themselves to you, kind of talks through like what their role is. And it was really nice getting to know everyone beforehand before seeing them like in the OR. I thought that was really nice. So eventually I was able to go give my urine sample. And after that, because that was going to hold things up a lot, so after that things went super fast. I was so surprised at how soon I was taken in since I got there early. But I don't know if maybe they just like didn't have someone before me, or if they were just ready to go. So did my urine sample. They put in the IV. They asked me, I think I answered, I've seen some people say this on the Wishers page too, is that you answer the same questions multiple times. Like I was asked what medications I'm on. They've already been in my chart from like past appointments. Random things like that. Like, it's not tedious to answer. It's just like you're going to answer those questions more than once. So they got that information. They told me about like what the follow-up meds would be that I would be taking. Walked me through the procedure. Dr. Patsalides came back and checked to see if I had any questions. And then we were good to go. I don't know if I said this. I had my IV put in. So I was really nervous about getting the IV put in, because every time that I go to get like imaging done that requires contrast or blood drawn, they always tell me that it's really hard to find an IV on me. And I'm like, especially because I haven't had anything to drink today. Like, I was nervous, but they found one. It was great. It was not painful. Once they had it all taped down, I couldn't even feel it. I have not showered since Wednesday. I haven't had the energy to, so I still have like all of the adhesive from it on there. But there's barely any bruise there, which I was surprised about. So I'm pretty sure it was like within an hour of me getting there that they took me back for the procedure. Because like once I had my urine sample done, got all the things signed, they were like, okay, we'll come get you in 20-30 minutes. It was definitely less than an hour and a half from the time that I got there, but I think it was closer to like an hour. So they ended up walking me over to the OR where I was going to have the procedure done. I think they usually will you back in your bed because I got some looks and there were some providers that were looking at the provider that was walking me back and they were like, oh, like you're walking over? And they were like, yeah, which is fine. It wasn't far and I was like very capable of walking. And they asked me first, they were like, are you okay to walk back? So they walked me back over. And then they had me like get on the table and start to get ready. If you know me well, if you're one of my friends watching this, you will know that I don't like to assume gender because you can't tell someone's gender based on their presentation, based on their gender expression, any of that. But for the sake of explaining these next couple of parts, and just the way that they were doing certain things, I'm going to kind of assume gender. So the first thing that they did is to have me get on the table, took my little robe off so that backside was exposed, and they were going to fan out the robe. That way I was like, you know, flat on the table. My gown was not like covering my back at all. And they had anyone who was more like masculine presenting leave the room. It was just, I think they were both nurses. It was just two feminine presenting nurses that were in there with me. So had me lay on the table, fanned out my gown, put lots of warm blankets on me. That was super, super nice. And then for the first part of the procedure, they go through the groin. So Dr. Patsalides goes through the right groin, but just in case there's any issues there, they shave both sides of the groin. That was the only point in time. Actually, there were 2 times where like my bottom like genital area was fully exposed. So one of those first times was then when it was just the 2, I believe, nurses in there with me when they were shaving both sides of the groins. And then they like sterilize it, I don't know, with some kind of cleaning thing to make sure it's like fully clean. So there was that time. And then there was one more time that you're fully exposed, but only for like not even like 30 seconds, I don't think. I think when they're doing the thing to like find exactly where the vein is that they're going to go through, the femoral vein. So those are the only times that my like genital area is fully exposed, which is something that I was like super anxious about because that was another unknown. But everyone make sure that you're super comfortable. They talk you through every single detail. They're like, okay, now we're going to do this, we're going to do this, da 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 da. So once they had me all situated, I was under my blankets. The people came in, introduced themselves again. The anesthesiologist came in and was like, I'm going to give you like a mild sedative. I think it was Versed that they gave me. And then I don't remember if it was the resident, the fellow, or someone else. Like I said, there were so many people, but someone came over, a couple of people actually. I think what they did first was use I think it was an ultrasound to find the femoral vein that they were going to be going through, and then they mark it with a patch. And again, I think that was the second time that I was like fully uncovered. Not like, you know, stomach and up. It's just like your genital area. And at one point, Dr. Patsalides walks in because it's almost time for like him to do his thing. And he looks up at the like screen showing my vitals. And my heart rate was above 110 with the Versed. And he looks at the anesthesiologist and he's like, she needs an anxiolytic. And the anesthesiologist is like, I already gave her one. So they had to push some more meds for me. And the little screen was like right within my eyesight. So I was staring at that thing the entire time. I'm telling you, my heart rate did not drop below 100. I'm just an anxious person. It'll probably be different for some of you, but I just thought that was kind of funny. So gave me more meds. Dr. P comes in to do his thing. I don't know, like, between him, the nurses, the PAs, fellow residents, I don't know who was doing what part. But, like, Dr. P is there for, like, the whole thing. So the first part, they go through the femoral vein to basically go in and see how narrowed the vein is. And then if you have an aneurysm too, to see like how big it is, because some people need coils. I didn't need coils. I think I ended up just getting one stent. So they go in, measure the narrowing, also measure the pressure in your head. I didn't get those numbers. I'm going to ask in my follow-up just because I'm curious to know, but I don't know what those numbers were for me. But he says that during that part, there's like times where you might feel, sorry, keep burping, I don't know why. There's certain points where you might feel like the catheter going, and there were like, I think like once we got to like this area, like near my eyes is where I started to feel it a little bit. I don't really know how to describe it. It was like a pretty dull pain. Nothing that like freaked me out or anything. But he does give you a heads up for that. So they go through, do that. He said, okay, like we confirmed the severe stenosis. Now we're gonna put you to sleep, do the stent. So, oh, I forgot. While they're doing the, that first part through the groin, they gave me, a little thing for some supplemental oxygen. So after that, and they also let you decide if you want to wear your mask or not at first, like your face covering, because you do have to wear it when you're coming into the hospital. And then, I wore mine the whole time, like before I came into the OR. And at first I said I didn't want to wear it for that first part, but then, I don't know, something just like, I don't know, it feels comforting having like a little bit more of you covered, especially when there's like parts of you exposed during the procedure. Cause like, actually, can you put my face mask back on? So I did have it on for that first procedure, or first part of the procedure. So after that, they take the little thing off with the oxygen. They had me breathe into, I think it was more oxygen, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, am I supposed to be falling asleep right now? Because it was a good, like, I don't know, up to 30 seconds. And I know like anesthesia knocks you out like that. So I think they were just giving me some oxygen first. And then after that, I think the anesthesiologist said that they were going to give me anesthesia. And that knocked me out so fast. I don't remember that part. So, the part where you go under anesthesia is where he goes in and places the stent. And for that, they go through, I don't know what this vein is called, but they go through here. You can see I just have some like mild bruising. This is the incision. It's super, super tiny. So they go through there, on the right side, even though they were placing the stent on my left. I'm pretty sure for everyone, unless there's like, I don't know, something funky going on, they go through the right side. So for that part of the procedure, they go through, they put my stent in, everything's wonderful. So obviously I was asleep, so I don't remember any of that stuff, but I woke up from the anesthesia. When I tell you I was so fucking hot and sweaty, I woke up and I'm like trying to wipe my face, and they're like, no, like try not to move this arm too much. So I take my other arm and I'm like wiping my face, and my first words out of anesthesia were like, I feel so sweaty. So at this point they like roll me back to like the little recover area. You don't have like your own room, like it's separated by curtains, but like you can close the curtains so you have your own enclosed space. But at that point, it was, I think, nurses and a PA that were taking care of me from that point on. They gave me lots of ice packs. I was putting them all over my face and my chest because I was just so dang hot. They were so sweet. They were like wiping my face for me. And for the first couple of hours, I think I was in and out of sleep there. I remember pretty early on, I asked if they could give me something for nausea, so they gave me some Zofran. They came back in a little bit. They were like, are you feeling any better? And I was like, a little bit. And they were like, a little bit's not enough. So they gave me some more Zofran. And then I think after that is when I asked for something for pain, because I was like, I don't know, like maybe some of the nausea has to do with my head hurting, you know? So they gave me, I think it was Dilaudid. So they gave me 1 dose of that because my headache, I think, was at like 6 or 7. After that dose, it was like 4 to 5 or 6. So they went to check if they could give me more Dilaudid, and I think that the fellow had like written another script for me, so I was able to get 2 doses of that. And it did make me feel better. Right when they inject it, I can't really describe like the sensation of when it like enters your body. I don't know, it was like almost like warmth, just like random warmth that comes over you randomly. But like that sensation went away like as the medicine like went through my body. But it was just a really weird feeling. At first I was like, is this normal? But they gave me that. They give you as many ice packs as you need. And they have like little things of food for if you want. Like they gave me an egg salad sandwich. I didn't end up eating because I was too nauseous. They gave me a little thing of little cucumbers and baby carrots and hummus. I did eat some of that. They bring you like juice, ginger ale, water. Like they have a bunch of options for you that like throughout your time there, they're asking you what you need. The timeline is fuzzy for me from there on out, but I want to say I was there for like 4-ish hours, maybe a little bit longer. And I think the people in the rooms next to me, I think they were there a little bit less than I was because, from what I could hear, I didn't hear them talking about like nausea or pain or anything, so I don't think they had to have as much like meds pushed as I did. But they did keep me a little bit longer because of that, to just make sure that they could monitor me a little bit further for that. What else? Yeah, I don't know. They have, so for you to not move your leg because you have the groin incision, right? They put a patch over your groin incision and a patch over the wrist incision, that you're supposed to leave on for 24 hours. And while you're laying in the recover area, they put something on your leg that makes it so that you can't move it. I have no idea what it was. I can't really describe it to you, but you cannot move your leg with that thing on. And they also put, I don't know, some sort of something to like compress this area. But again, I was so like in and out of it that I couldn't fully tell you like what it was. I've seen other people talk about it in their posts, so maybe you can find it there. But yeah, I was in and out of sleep a lot. What else? I think that was pretty much it. They were like super, super, super great, like constantly checking on me. There's a little like TV for you. There's a remote where you can like change the channels and adjust the volume. There's a little call button if you need a nurse or a provider to come over. Dr. Patsalides and I think it was his fellow or resident, I can't remember. They came by at one point to check on me. They were like checking to see if I was good, and also heard that I was like nauseous and in a little bit of pain, so they were checking on that too. But they were super great. And yeah, I read a lot of people saying that right when they came out of anesthesia, right when they got to their little like room area, that they had to pee so bad. I don't know if I'm just like built different or what, but I didn't have to pee at all. And I was so surprised because maybe you've seen like me commenting on other people's posts about this, but I was so nervous that I was going to have to pee like right when I came out. And I don't know why, but the idea of using a bedpan or an external catheter was just like giving me a lot of anxiety. I know it's normal and like these nurses and other providers have seen it all, but still I was just like, I don't know. I didn't have to pee at all. Don't bank on that because I don't know if that's normal, but I didn't end up peeing until right after, or right when it was time for me to leave and go home. So like several hours later. So the person next to me, I think they had been in the room for about like 2 hours at that point, and they said that they had to go pee, and they actually were able to like get up and go to the actual bathroom. So I don't know what their like little timeline is with that. But there's definitely a good chunk of time where you're supposed to lay flat the entire time. But then once they start to like sit you up at some point, and that's when they start to offer you like food and drinks and stuff. And I guess that's when you can like get up for a second if you have to go use the bathroom. So after Dr. Patsalides came and checked on me and said bye, one of the nurses came in, started taking out my IV, put the little patches on my incision sites, and brought me all my belongings, told me about the meds I would be taking. So they prescribed Percocet and a steroid pack. The Percocet I've been taking off and on. I want to say the first 2 days I was taking it a little bit more consistently. And I've also been supplementing it with ibuprofen because the Percocet has acetaminophen. And I read online that it's okay to take ibuprofen with it. So like fingers crossed, I'm okay. I'm alive to tell the tale. But if you're going to do that, probably like check with the doctor first and don't just rely on the internet. But I'm like 99% sure that that's fine because I've done it before. But yeah, the steroid pack I think lasts 6 days. I don't remember how many doses of Percocet they gave me. But I'm doing pretty okay right now. I'm still getting over my COVID cough. This incision has not hurt at all, I don't think. It's gotten pretty itchy. My groin incision for the first 2 days, I didn't feel it at all. It was fine. But today there's been a little bit of pain and I can't get like, I was trying to take a nap earlier, couldn't get comfortable, couldn't find a comfortable position. But I keep checking it and there's no like redness or inflammation or anything. There's like a teeny little bit of bruising for the groin area, but like this one is more bruised. And this one is like barely bruised at all, which I was surprised because of the blood thinners. I thought it would be a lot worse. But what else? So they explain your meds. They sent my dad to the pharmacy that's in the hospital to go pick up the meds for me. Oh, I was still nauseous when it came time to leave. Like, there were 2 times as I was getting ready to leave where I was, like, ready to throw up. They gave me these 2 little throw-up bags. And it just, like, wasn't happening for me in the hospital. They gave me a dose of Zofran, like, sublingual, and then they prescribed me some Zofran that I actually went and I picked up before I got back in the car, or not, before I went to the car. So, yeah, they did that. Once they sent my dad to go, like, pull the car around, that's when they brought me my stuff so I could go, like, get changed into my stuff again. When I stood up, so, like, all the sheets that you're laying on are white, right, and the blankets and stuff, too. When I got up, I looked down, and I see, like, a large area of blood, but it wasn't, like, it was kind of like a faint red, and I was just very confused. At first, I was like, did I get my period even though I haven't had it in, like, over a year? Or is this, like, from the incision or what? So I called the nurse over, and I was like, am I bleeding from somewhere? And she's like, let me take a look at your incision. So she looks at the groin incision. It was totally fine. She said that just sometimes, like, it can ooze a little bit, so I think that's what happened. But that hasn't happened since. But definitely freaked me out for a second there, because I was like, this is more than just, like, a little tiny spot. It was, like, a lot. But I didn't feel it when it was happening. So I got changed. They send you out in a wheelchair to your car, and then I was on my way. I don't think I made it 20 minutes into the car ride before I threw up all over myself. That was really fun. And I could feel it coming on too, so I, like, popped a peppermint gum in there, thinking, like, oh, the peppermint will, like, soothe things. And then I was like, oh, maybe you're just still hungry because you've barely eaten anything. Let's have a carrot and some hummus. No. I said to my dad, can you pull over? And, like, as the word over left my mouth, so did the vomit all over myself. And then he pulls over, but I'm already, like, throwing up at that point. So he gives me a Wawa bag. I continue the journey in that bag. But yeah, a lot of it ended up all over me, so that was really good and fun. But after that, I felt better because I got it all out of my system, right? So I think I was like in and out of sleep on the drive home too. We barely hit any traffic on the drive home too, which was great. I was a little bit hungry when we got home, so I got from Panera some grilled cheese and tomato soup. I was able to eat the whole thing. Haven't thrown up again since that one time in the car. I have popped a Zofran, I think like right before I had that Panera meal when I got home, and then I took one I think last night too, because my stomach was feeling a little bit funky, but I've been fine. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm trying to think if there's any other details that are worth sharing. Yeah, I don't know. If you are traveling in, like if you flew in, or if you're like driving from a far distance, I'm pretty sure you have your follow-up. I feel like I've seen some people say with Kelly, it might be with someone else, but you have, this is specifically if you're going with Dr. Patsalides. I'm sure if you have other providers doing this procedure, like there's a lot of it that's similar, but, so if you traveled in, you have your follow-up, I think 2 days after the procedure, that way you can like fly back or like drive back after, but I was local, so I haven't had my follow-up yet. I have to call and schedule it. But I'm pretty sure I've seen people saying that it can be virtual. And I was talking to one of my nurses, and she was saying that she thinks that it can be virtual too, so we'll see. I will update as that happens too. Yeah, I cannot stress how comfortable everyone I interacted there made me. I was nervous because the only like procedure that I've had before is getting my wisdom teeth out, which like that required, excuse me, that required anesthesia, but it was like a lot more minor. And that time I woke up from anesthesia sobbing. So I was surprised this time when I wasn't crying at all. That threw me a curveball. I was not expecting to not be crying. There was something else that I wanted to say and I forgot what it was. Yeah, I don't remember. It'll come back as soon as I post this video. Yeah, so everyone there was super nice. Oh, I remember. Okay, so when I was asking for the nausea meds, like after I came out of the procedure, one of the nurses was saying that my blood pressure was a little low, and that's when she started offering me like food and drinks and stuff, but I don't think that's a common thing either. That was just a thing. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to get every detail out there, so I wanted to share that too. Yeah, so everyone was super, super, super great. Makes you feel super comfortable, explains everything that they're doing, asks you if you have any questions. Yeah, and they just make sure that you're really well taken care of. So if you also have venous sinus stenosis, I do recommend getting the stent. Obviously, it's different for everyone. My pulsatile tinnitus was intermittent. It was not like 24/7. Like I said, it was in both ears. This one was louder than the other. When I pressed here, it made it louder here. When I pressed here, it made it louder here. And yeah, I've had silence since then. And it's been great. I've been like twisting my neck every which way to see if I can like find a place where I do still hear the sound, but I have not, which is awesome. But yeah, I know it is, at least for me, and I've seen other people saying the same thing, like it's scary and like nerve-wracking because it's a procedure where you are put under anesthesia. But it is so minimally invasive. You have so many people taking really great care of you. Yeah, and just making sure that you're good to go, like every step of the way. So I do really recommend the procedure if you have a doctor recommending it to you. And I also really recommend Dr. Patsalides and his team. I'll make another video talking through like the steps I took to actually get to Dr. P, to get to this diagnosis, to get to this procedure. But it took a lot of invalidating doctors along the way. So if you have to keep shopping around for doctors, I know it is a privilege to do so, to be able to like, you know, see a bunch of different providers with insurance and money and stuff like that. But if you are able to, I really recommend Dr. P. Like I said, he's out of New York. yeah, so 12 out of 10 would recommend, despite the projectile vomiting all over myself. I've been feeling pretty good since. Still like super tired. Haven't had the energy to shower yet. I might attempt that later. Although one other thing is, I think yesterday was like the peak of it, but the day before a little bit too. I've been feeling like itchy all over my body. So I've been like wrapping this incision at night with some gauze because I don't want to like scratch it in my sleep and make it bleed. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just a combination of the anesthesia, the contrast, the many medications that I'm on. But it's gone today so far, so that's good. But yeah, like I said, really recommend. Had a really good experience, and I'm happy to answer any questions, or like listen to any events. I've had multiple people reach out to me on my pulsatile tinnitus Instagram page, like through DMs, to like share their story and ask what tests I had and ask about Dr. P and like all of that. So my DMs, my comments are totally open. I would love to hear your stories and like help out in any way that I can. So yeah, feel free to reach out. I'm sorry that this video was almost 40 minutes long, but hopefully talking through all of these details helps make at least one person a little bit more comfortable going into this procedure or going into the decision-making process on if they want to get this procedure or not. And I'm sure there's like things that I left out. So if you have any questions about any other like little specifics, like no question is a dumb question. Like every question when it comes to this stuff is totally valid. So feel free to reach out if y'all need anything, and thanks for watching.